Today on Sports Central, we'll be going over our Power 4 conference realignment for the 2020 college football season. And as you know, a couple months back, we did do a Power 6 conference realignment. And if you missed out on that one, basically what we did was we used all 5 Power 5 conferences, we realigned them, and then we added a new conference, which we called the Big East. If you missed out on that video, I'll tag that one in this video as well. So if you want to check that one out too. Yeah, this is just a Power 4 conference realignment. Basically what we're doing here is we're splitting all of the teams into 4 separate divisions, being the North, South, East, and West. So, and obviously this is very unlikely for the NCAA to go off of, and it is very unlikely that this does end up happening. This is just kind of more of an exhibition type of analysis. This is not factual by any means. I will just say that right off the bat. And of course, there's going to be a lot of different opinions on this. And so I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below over this. If you disagree with anything here, don't be mad about it. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to as many of your guys' comments as possible. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. But anyway, let's look at your North Division. This is what we've got here. Of course, this is more of a Big Ten type of division where you've got several Big Ten teams. Of course, you've got Indiana. You also have Illinois, Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue, Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin. You can't forget about Michigan State, Minnesota, and Northwestern as well. So there's several Big Ten teams in this North Division, and considering the Big Ten kind of lies in the northern region, that was kind of expected to happen. But we also do have a couple of ACC teams in here. We do have Boston College, Pittsburgh, and Syracuse that would be in our North Division. And we also have Iowa State out of the Big 12. We got Missouri out of the SEC. And then we also have Notre Dame. Of course, they're an independent right now, but I think they'd fit best in the North Division, obviously, with them being in Indiana. We also see Cincinnati. They're coming out of the American Athletic. And it just makes sense considering they're in Ohio and kind of in the same region as most of the teams in this division. It would just make sense to throw Cincinnati in the North Division. So this is what your North Division looks like. Obviously, once again, it's full of a lot of Big Ten teams. We also do have a couple of ACC. And of course, once again, I mean, this isn't factual by any means, but these conferences definitely you could consider to be mega conferences. Of course, we do see most conferences, or a couple at least, such as the Big Ten or the ACC or the SEC, where they've got 14 teams. So it's not a whole lot different in comparison to those conferences where they've got 14 teams. But considering these divisions will have 18 teams in them each, it is kind of more of like more of a mega conference, as you could say. But once again, this is what your North Division looks like. I'd also like to hear your comments below on what you think of it once again. But as far as your East Division looks, of course, we've got this division being primarily SEC and ACC teams. We do have Clemson and Louisville out of the ACC. We also see NC State and North Carolina. Same with Florida State. We also have Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Virginia, Miami. Same with Duke as well. They're all ACC teams. And we also have a couple of SEC teams. I consider putting Florida, Georgia, and Florida State, of course. Same with UCF in the South Division. But I mean, I kind of went back and forth on that. And considering Florida, Georgia, and Florida State are all very much on the eastern side of the nation, it just would make sense to throw them in the East Division. Plus, it worked out pretty well. So yeah, of course, you got Florida, Georgia, and Florida State all in this division. Same with the UCF. They're coming out of the American Athletic. They're going to be in this East Division. Same thing with West Virginia. They're coming out of the Big 12 to be in the East Division. Then, of course, you got your two Eastern Big 10 teams with Maryland and Rutgers. They're going to be in this division as well. And obviously with this division, it would be a very interesting one, having Florida, Georgia, and Clemson all in the same conference. Of course, Florida and Georgia already have a big rivalry in their division, the SEC. It'd be kind of interesting to add in Clemson to all of that as well. But in the end, you also have South Carolina. Can't forget about them. They're coming out of the SEC too. And then, I think I've gone over pretty much every team here. Of course, North Carolina, they're coming out of the ACC as well. Same with Kentucky. You can't forget about them as well. But yeah, as far as the South Division looks, this mainly covers most Texas teams and most teams in the Big 12. Of course, you've got Texas A&M coming out of the SEC. It just made sense to throw them in the South Division, considering they're more in the central of the nation. Plus, they're pretty southern, so obviously you had to throw them in this division. You also got Tennessee. They're coming out of the SEC, and I went back and forth on Tennessee as to whether or not I'd throw them in the East Division. Obviously, they're kind of in the same region as most of the ACC and SEC teams, but I just decided in the end to throw them in the South Division. We also got TCU out of the Big 12. Same thing with Texas Tech and Oklahoma. And then you also have Baylor. Can't forget about them. They're also in the South Division. Same thing with Texas out of the Big 12. So, once again, lots of Big 12 teams are landing in the South Division. And you also have, of course, Oklahoma State. They're from the Big 12. But you also got several SEC teams with Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Mississippi State. You got Arkansas in there as well. Same thing with Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. So there are several SEC teams in the South Division as well. And really, you will not see many teams west of Texas that will be in the South Division. And that's because they made it into the West Division. But yeah, I also decided to throw Georgia Tech in here. Obviously, I mean, Georgia Tech could easily have been in the East Division as well. But just for that of it, I just decided to throw Georgia Tech in here. And considering, I mean, they'd probably fit pretty well in this division, considering it's a pretty tough division in and of itself. You also have Memphis out of Tennessee. Can't forget about them. They're coming out of the American Athletic. Same thing with SMU. They're also in the American Athletic. And obviously, I mean, with these AAC teams that are coming into this conference realignment, I just threw in the best teams out of the American Athletic Conference last season. Obviously, that could vary from season to season. But in the end, yeah, that's kind of what your South Division looks like. Once again, 18 teams in here. And it's mostly filled with the SEC and Big 12 teams. Then lastly, our West Division, here's what it looks like. And this one has got pretty much all of the Pac-12 teams. I could actually has all of the Pac-12 teams in here. So this is basically the Pac-12 conference plus 6 other teams. Of course, you got Arizona, you got UCLA, Washington State, Utah, same with Oregon State. You got California in there, Washington, USC, Oregon, you got Colorado, you got Stanford, and same with Arizona State. All of those teams are your Pac-12 teams, and so they're going to be in your West Division. But at the same time, you also are adding in a couple of teams such as Kansas and Kansas State. The 2 Kansas teams are going into your West Division. Same thing with Nebraska, and that one was tough. I mean, Nebraska could be in pretty much every division if they really wanted to. I mean, same thing with Kansas. I mean, the Kansases could easily have been in the South Division as well, and I very much considered putting them in that South Division. But in the end, the West Division really did not have a whole lot of teams to throw in, so they ended up making it into the West Division. We also have Air Force, of course. That would be a good fit. They're coming out of the Mountain West. Same thing with Wyoming. I decided to throw them in here. And also Boise State. Obviously, Boise State, I think in general, deserves to be in a Power 5 conference. I mean, I definitely consider throwing Boise State into the Pac-12 if I really could. I mean, even though they're in a small market, I do understand that. But in the end, Boise State, I mean, they've been a very successful team over the years. So I think Boise State could easily be in the West Division, and they could easily be in the Pac-12 in general in real life. I think Boise State, for sure, they should make a good case to get into a Power 5 conference. But at the same time, once again, this is mainly filled with Pac-12 teams, and you also have a couple of other teams such as Kansas and Kansas State out of the Big 12. Same thing with the Air Force, and then you got Boise State and Wyoming out of the Mountain West, Nebraska out of the Big 10, and yeah, I think that's kind of what your West Division looks like in the end. But yeah, that about wraps up our Power 4 conference realignment. Pretty quick video. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this conference realignment. And also let me know in the comments below what other conference realignments that you would like me to do. And of course, there's several others. I mean, I could do a Power 5 conference realignment if you guys really wanted me to. Which, of course, I would expect there to be a lot of changes even if I were to do a Power 5 conference realignment. But yeah, once again, if you did not check out our Power 6 conference realignment, I will tag that in this video here so that you guys can check that out. But as always, thanks again for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Once again, this is just this isn't factual by any means. It's just kind of something I did as an exhibition. So I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below once again. But don't get all mad and worked up over this. It's just kind of something that is for fun in the end. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. If you enjoyed this, be sure to slap a like on it and subscribe as well. It really helps out the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But as always, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central, and I'll see you all later.